Hello there, and welcome. Well, it's the weekend, so today I thought I'd tell you a little bit about John and his working life. Now, anybody who's watched the channel knows that the vast majority of his life, John was a teacher, and in fact, was still actively teaching even during the time when he passed away. But he had other jobs too. We're a family that likes jobs, and so we have lots of different jobs. Perhaps no one had more different jobs than Brian. Brian tells amazing stories about his work. I would love sometime to just get Brian sat down and talking about his work. And you know what? Dean has had a lot of jobs too, come to think of it. But today I'm going to be telling you about John's work. So probably the first time he ever really made any money was a thing that my folks did. During the summers, Mother and Daddy would work at lookout towers to make a little extra money and working for the Forest Service. And so one year they worked and the boys went with them. This was before I was born. The boys were young. And at the end of the summer, they got a paycheck and they split it 3 ways. Mom got a third, Daddy got a third, and the boys got a third. And so everybody got to buy what they wanted to. Mother was by far the most responsible with money, so it was fairly quick in their marriage that Daddy turned over the money handling to her, and he just did his work, whatever that work might be. But John's first real kind of job where he made money for doing something was babysitting me and my best friend Kyla. And he had to watch us one afternoon, and I only know this story not because I recall it, but because my mother likes to tell it. He was to watch us one afternoon, and when my folks got back, they noticed that Kyla and I were just whispering to each other, and they asked what was going on, and we were just whispering to them. And so finally, Mother asked, "Why are you whispering?" And I said, "John told Kyla he didn't like her." And so we were giving him the silent treatment, which is what he wanted. He did not want to hear from us, little girls. And so, you know, even that early on, he knew ways to make sure that children did what they ought, which was, at that time for him, shut up. The second John story that I loved hearing, and I wish you were here to tell it to you, was about when he had a job at the Tastee-Freez in Carrizozo. He worked at the window. Tastee-Freez was an innovator. You know, you had a drive-through window at Tastee-Freez, and they had this little alcove kind of built out of the building, so it was like a little closet kind of nudged out from the edge of the building, and a little window that they handed the orders through. And he was working at a Tastee-Freez as a teen, and this beautiful girl drove up and ordered a strawberry shake, and he was very excited to see her and very attentive to her. So much so that when he took the cup that you make the shake in and stuck it on the machine, he didn't get it on there quite right. And so when he turned on the machine, it spun unevenly and spun strawberry shake all over that little alcove, just whoop, 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 whoop. And he looked over and he saw his boss sitting inside the ice cream shop, the Tastee-Freez, with a cigarette, smoking and watching John do something preternaturally stupid. It's too bad that people aren't allowed to smoke indoors anymore. Maybe that's why so many bosses during the boomer period let people live. You know, he was just trying to remain calm, watching John make a mess of the place. But John had to clean it up. Another story that John told that I thought was really funny, he was working to earn money to pay for college. Now, we all did that. We all worked during college to help pay for college so that we wouldn't be in too much debt. I doubt we could do it the same way now, but he worked. He worked in the summertime. Sometimes he worked as a firefighter, and I do want to tell stories about that. But he also worked on a road construction crew there in Estancia. And he used to tell the story about how the day before he started, he slammed his thumb in the hood of the truck and busted it open. It had to have stitches. They went to the doctor and he had to have stitches. And so they taped it up a lot, and he went to work the next day and they put him on the tamper, which is a tool that tamps down the ground before they lay a roadbed in. So he was running the tamper, and as he ran the tamper, his bandage came off and blood flung everywhere. He's just spurting blood all over the place. John's stories ended up in pretty messy areas, I guess. Yeah. John really wasn't made for construction work or for food service. He was really, in his heart, the guy he was originally, which is a guy who could control others, which is the perfect description of a teacher. Sort of like a horse trainer without the fun of the horse. So, I love the way he used to tell those stories. I wish I had it recorded. I certainly wish I had it in my ear, but I hope it gives you a sense of his fun and his way of telling a story that could be self-deprecating and also funny. That's it for today. I hope you have a glorious rest of the day, and I hope you see me again. You gorgeous people.